Good afternoon. The Ranter is back to go into yet another rambling diatribe of the news of the day. This is not going to be a long one. This is just, I want to get like one little point across. And this is concerning the Chinese spy balloon that was flying overhead over the United States and shot down by Biden once it hit the ocean. What I really want to talk about that is once again the reaction to this and people's jumping up and down and being hyperbolic over it. When we first detected this balloon and it was flying over, as the comments from Twitterverse upon certain individuals on the Republican Party is like blaming Biden for that. This is Biden's fault. Why didn't he shoot it down immediately? Shoot it down! Shoot it down now! And he didn't. It was like, oh, he's on take. He's on the take. This is Beijing Biden. Oh, and as it drifted over and hit the ocean, and then finally they shot it down. Why didn't he shoot it down over the land? Why did he wait till it crossed the United States to shoot it down? And then the golden nugget of all this is that, when Trump was president, he would shot it down immediately. Yeah. Okay. There's a few bits of reality that we have to get across. One is a common sense one. The other one is just based on kind of facts. When they were pushing that Trump would have shot it down immediately, that's when the Pentagon decided to knock on and says, hi, no, see, at least 3 of these type of surveillance balloons passed over during the Trump administration, and he didn't shoot it down, and he didn't tell nobody. So that kind of blows up the whole, Trump would have gotten that. Of course, the response to that is also split. Either Republicans, well, actually there's 3 ways of it, especially if you're thinking about Marco Rubio. When Marco Rubio was told this on ABC, it's just deer in the headlights, no response, kind of a twitch, but that was about it. The responses beyond that is either, oh, that's false, that's not true, no, Trump says that didn't happen, none of the Trump's people said that it didn't happen, no, it's all lies, deceptions from the Pentagon. Okay. And then the other reaction is that, oh, but the balloons, when it flew over Guam, it flew over coastal areas. That's completely different. Okay. All right, so that's one thing, that the flailing. We'll get a little bit more into that in a moment. The other thing about it, though, is that we've been having, and not just us, but the whole world, has had the concept of spying for a long, long time. For our own sake, our own situation here, we've had spying from our own people spying for other governments. We have leaked information that was sent out. We've had foreign living assets come into this country. We've had surveillance devices like the balloon and others fly overhead. We've had, the allegations of foreign governments tapping into our technology and getting our information. We've had things going back into history, as the circumstances involving the movie Breach, which was a real thing, where one of our own agents from our intelligence community was for years and years and years giving information to Russia. We go back in history to the Rosenbergs, We go back to Bellboy during the Civil War, and we go back to Benedict Arnold. This is not a new concept. So, either blaming one administration or blaming the other administration for things that happen like this, that's kind of naive, short-sighted, and if you know what you're doing, that's pretty petty for the sake of politics. But that's where we're at now. Well, that's where we're at in our politics. Because I could be just as petty, and if someone says this, well, Biden just set this balloon over the United States and didn't even shoot it down, and then I could go, oh yeah, well, Trump had 3 balloons and he didn't shoot it down at all, and he didn't tell nobody. Yeah, we can go back and forth with that bullshit. But in reality, all of that is petty political bullshit. So there's supposed to be certain realities. One of those realities being is that we're going to spy, and other people are going to spy on us. And if you're going to pretend to be like a little babe in the woods in a little picnic basket, where all this is all new and scary for you, sorry. It's time to wake up to reality, and these are the type of things that happens. And, I don't know what else to tell you about that. It's just... We have our own issues with our own spying. I mean, come on, go back to the time where our U-2 spy plane was shot down by Russia back in the day. I mean, we're no innocents in this. And if we're into this situation of like people going, well, we could spy, but other people could spy on us. Where's the logic in that? Come on. I mean, the only thing we ask is that we hope that the people that are following up or detect these things, has some deterrence for it, and if it's effective or not, and then to improve upon that. But let's not blame Biden. Let's not blame Trump for these type of issues. Come on, let's be adult about this. But the thing is that for our politics, we don't want to be adult. We don't want to be adult at all. I mean, if you think about our politics and you think about, our day and age, our politics does not lend to helping, opposite political administrations and opposite political parties because of this great political rivalry, even at the sake and at the result of harming our own people. I mean, you'll see Republicans on Twitter, blame Biden for everything under the sun between the economy or whatever. But the thing is that in our form of government, if you want anything to approve for anybody, you have to, have things go through the House or through the Senate, pass to the House, pass to the Senate, and then to reach the desk of the president to sign it to law for anything to be approved upon. But they don't want to do that. And flip side of the coin, Democrats don't really want to do that for Republicans and a Republican administration either. So we are in this grind of a status quo where the politics is more important than the people. And so any little incident will be blown up to 5,000% proportions, and so it's theater, it's bullshit, and it is actually pretty tiring. I mean, you have to really realistically applaud anything that is pushed bipartisan successfully, like the infrastructure bill. You have to actually applaud that, because that is not the norm anymore. See, it used to be that, these big ticket items, these big ticket items that they talk about on the medias, that's the stuff that they'll fight back and forth about. But all the other municipal logistical stuff, the ones that actually helps people, they actually, cut the politics, and then everyone just sort of gets together and they quietly pass bills between the House and Senate, and then they get signed into law. And I mean, there's no real fanfare about it. This is just, real common sense stuff to help people along, right? But now that's no longer the case. Now it's like everything has to be a fight. Everything has to be everything has to be like a major issue that draws everyone to the media to do their sound bites and to oppose at all cost. That we can no longer have the middle. We can no longer have actual moderates and centrists. We can no longer have compromise, because it's either our way or no way. Democrats and Republicans both do this, and it is, again, it leaves the country in a status quo stagnation, so that the very trickle of anything that is any form of improvement goes by because one side doesn't want the other side to take any credit. So they don't want, if something passes that actually helps, bring down inflation, brings down the cost of gas, brings down the cost of food, brings down the cost of like medications or anything. And no matter how good it is for the country and for the people, they don't want to see that improvement because the president might take credit for it and he might get reelected because of it. So we can't do that. And this is not a new concept. I mean, before I was even railing on video on politics, I used to type out long-winded text rants during the Obama administration, how this type of thing would happen, where it's like any little issue, 5,000% blown out of proportion, and blaming him for the lot of the country, even though these people were opposing every single measure that he was pushing out. Remember the American Job Act, the Job Bill? They tried to pass that fully, and the Republicans refused it. They tried to portion it out in pieces, and they refused that too. But the thing is that they're so public about it that people figured that out, and they got pissed at them, so they still reelected Obama over it. See, it's after a while, regular folk, they love the political theater. Yeah, that's great and entertaining, but they're still, what have you done for us lately? Which is, again, the one drawback for these Republicans who are controlling the House. If all you're going to do is investigate, all you're going to do is your committee bullshit, and you're not going to make the compromises to help people, the people will remember that. And you'll see what happens within the next 2 years on that. But once again, and I'm going to land this right now, when it comes to Chinese balloons or any other form of surveillance, all we can do is combat it. All we can do is try to stop it. But it's going to happen. And if it's Biden, if it's Trump, if it's any other person that happens to be president of the United States, it's not their fault that something is flying overhead. And they are given the information by their own advisors, by the intel community, by the Pentagon. They determine when and where, if they're going to engage with this, or if they're not going to engage with this. There are ramifications. What would happen if we shoot down a Chinese balloon? What if there's something inside it? What if there are chemicals inside it? As Republicans were all flailing about, that this balloon could have had chemical weapons or something on it. Well, then maybe we shouldn't shoot it down then, so it wouldn't shoot overhead. I love some of these people who, like Rand Paul says, they should have shot it down immediately. Overhead. And it's like, really? Well, it was overhead the country. And some people on Twitter, it's like, when I mentioned, it's like, that would cause a lot of damage. These things are 200 feet tall, apparently, according to the Pentagon. And that would land on the United States. Might land in a town. Might land on a house. Might land on people. And then somebody, I bring it up on Twitter, and somebody's like, "Oh, well, they could totally destroy that from up there, and it wouldn't be any debris." And it's like, really, elaborate. They never elaborated. So what? We throw a nuclear bomb in the air so that could vaporize everything? Yeah, that's healthy. But in any event, it's not the president's fault that these things happen, because these things are going to happen. All we can do is that we can combat it. And that's just the way that is. 15 minutes. Or 16. Alright. That's all I got. Ranter rants. Because your rant was ranting, and that was what I was ranting about. See you next time.